Hi, everyone. 5.4. That's Miss Hygra laughing in the background because math is so much fun. Write equations in standard form. SWABAT. What is it, Miss Hygra?
It is write equations in standard form.
Wow. The standard form of a line is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a and b cannot both be 0. So we've learned 2 other forms already, correct?
Yes, we've learned point slope form and slope intercept form. So this is our 3rd form.
Yes, it is, and we call it standard form. So write 2 equations in standard form that are equivalent to...
Okay, so this first one is written in standard form because I have this 1 out here, which is like my a, and I have the 4 out in front of my y, which is like my b, and then my c is the 3. So this is already in standard form, and we want to write 2 more equations equivalent. So how do we do that, Miss Fitz?
Well, it kind of reminds me of fractions from when we had to have equivalent fractions. We just pick a number and we multiply. So I like the number 5, Miss Hygra.
Where does 5 come from?
5 is because I was born on the 5th of April, and I like that number. So I'm going to pick 5 as my first one and multiply by 5. Now, when I multiply it, I have to make sure that I hit every single term. So 5 times x is 5x, plus 5 times 4 is 20, keep the y, is equal to 5 times 3, 15. What's your favorite number, Miss Hygra?
Well, I guess I'll pick 4 since I was born on the 4th.
Very good.
So you have one equation and I will do another equation. So I'm going to multiply my original equation by 2. No, I said 4.
I like 2 also.
2 is good too. X plus 4y equals 3, and I'm going to distribute my 4. So 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times 4y, 16y. And 4 times 3 gives me equals 12. So now we have 2 equations equivalent to our first one.
Very good.
So what I would do is I would pause this and see if you can write 2 equations and see if you can magically pick the same numbers we do.
Yep. Did you pause it? I hope so. And if you did, then right now you are unpausing it, and you will notice that 2 things have appeared. I chose -5 for my equation, and...
I chose 2.
Did you guess right? Probably not, but that's okay. We still love you. So check and see, and then I think you'll be okay. Yeah?
Yep. Let's go on to the next. So here we are writing horizontal and vertical lines through a given point. So here we have the point 7, -2. So we need to write the horizontal and vertical line. So for me, I find it helpful to plot that point and just do a quick plot where it goes over 7 and up 2. So my point is over here. And I'm going to have to write the horizontal, which goes sideways, and the vertical, which goes up and down. So the vertical goes up and down, and the horizontal goes sideways. So my horizontal line, which I will do first, would be this line. And they all have the same y-coordinate. What's the y-coordinate there?
The y-coordinate there is -2. So I would say that the equation of the horizontal line that goes through that, Miss Hygra, is y equals... Hello, ladies. It's Miss Fitzgerald with a little bit more of a serious tone. Do you notice anything wrong with this picture? I didn't, but Miss Hygra did. She tested us and we failed at first. So when we look at this coordinate, it was supposed to be 7, -2. But we did it through 7, 2. Maybe we can just make it positive.
Well, I'll just fix it
She'll
to be
fix it.
7, -2.
There it is. That's the point.
Okay, so now I'm going to draw the horizontal line that goes through that correct point now that I've plotted it correctly.
Good job.
And what are the y-coordinates of all these points, Miss Fitzgerald?
The y-coordinates of all of these points is -2. So I would say that y equals -2.
So the horizontal line is y equals -2, because
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
the line that goes through the y-axis at -2 and has all y-coordinates of -2.
That's
Can
right.
Can you help us find the vertical line, Miss Fitz?
Well, I'll draw it first. There it is. It's pretty straight too. I'm looking at this line and I notice that all of the x values are the same. What are they, Miss Hagra?
7.
Good job. So my line is going to be x equals 7 for my vertical line. Looks like we're kind of just labeling the x coordinate and the y coordinate.
Wow. Look how easy that is. That is the x is 7 and the y is -2.
Seems like number 4 should be pretty easy then. What would you say the vertical line would be for number 4, Miss Hagra?
Well, I have to remember which one's the vertical and which one's the horizontal. But I do know quickly that x is -4 and y is 12. Now I just have to determine which is going to be the horizontal line and which is the vertical line.
Well, remember, here's what I know about x and vertical lines. I know that for x, there are 4 V's saying vertical, 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 vertical. Here's a V, vertical, 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 vertical. 4 V's are all just in different directions, and they're yelling at you, Miss Hager. They're saying vertical, 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 vertical.
What a great remembering tool. I never knew that. So this is my vertical.
That is your vertical line.
And my y.
Your y is also saying horizontal, but it's not as saying it so loudly. Because if you look at your h, it's like an upside down y.
Hey, I didn't notice that.
You're welcome. That's free.
You're awesome.
I know. Next. Write an equation in standard form of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope m, or that passes through the 2 points. So this looks a little bit familiar from what we've done before, Miss Hagra. Number 5, 4, -1, and it has a slope of 3.
I know what to do.
What do you do? What do you do?
Well, I know y equals mx plus b, and I have an m, and I'm going to label my x and my y.
Sure.
So I'm going to plug that in. So my y is -1, my slope is 3, my x is 4, and now I'm just going to solve for b. So -1 is 12 plus b, and I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides to give me b is -13.
Good job.
So now I'm going to take my slope and my y-intercept and write my equation, y equals 3x minus 13. I'm done and I should box my answer in now?
You should absolutely not box your answer yet because they wanted standard form, Miss Hager, which is ax plus by is equal to c. So I love that you have the y already on the left side, but that x is in the wrong spot, that 3x. How would you move it, Miss Hager?
Well, since it's being added to that number, I need to make it -3x.
Good job.
So then it's going to be -3x plus y equals -13. And that would be the standard form because I have my a and then an x plus my b and then my y equals my c.
Very good. I like it.
Is that the only correct answer, Ms. Fitzgerald?
No, as we saw in number 1 and 2, we could have various different equivalent equations to this.
Good to know. So maybe our answer doesn't match the back of the book's answers all the time?
Not all the time.
So how do we check if ours is correct if it's not the same?
Great question, Miss Hagra. What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking sometimes the back of the book might make the first letter positive. So what I could do, just like in example 1, is multiply everything by the same number.
How about -1?
Well, let's try -1. So -1 times 3x plus y equals -13. So I'm going to distribute. So I get 3x, distribute to the y, minus y equals negative times a negative gives me a positive 13. And that might also be the answer in the back of the book.
Right. Looks good.
Okay. 6 looks different. How do we do that?
6 does look different. Thank you for saving this one for me. I think that we need to find the slope first, the slope of this line. So m is equal to, remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Labeling x1, y1 and x2, y2. I'm going to calculate my slope. So I'm plugging directly in my formula. So I have 3 minus -3 over -4 minus -5. Changing my signs up top, I get 6 over 1. So my slope, m, is 6. I'm going to go ahead and pick the second pair just because those numbers look a little bit easier. Not much, but just a little bit. So I have -4, 3. Here's my x, here's my y. Thank you so much, Miss Hagler, for writing down the formula for me already. So instead of y, I'm going to write 3 equals m, which is 6, times x, which is -4, plus b. I'm going to simplify now to solve for b just like you did on the left, and I get 3 is equal to -24 plus b. I'm going to add 24 to both sides. And then I get 27 is equal to b. So writing into slope-intercept form, I know y is equal to mx, so 6x plus 24. Can't stop there.
Why did you write 24 here but 27 there, Miss Fitzgerald?
Well, I think that's called user error. Made a little mistake there. Miss Hagler, thanks for helping me out. I think it's 27. Good catch. That's what friends do. -6x minus 6x, and I get -6x plus y is equal to 27.
Great.
Ooh, that was fun.
Let's see what the next slide shows us.
Yeah.
Okay, here it says find the missing coefficient of the equation of the line shown. So here I'm given a point, so of course I'm going to label that as x comma y, and I give an equation in standard form. Well, here I have 3 things I don't know. I don't know a, and I don't know x, and I don't know y. So how am I supposed to write this equation, Miss Fitzgerald?
Well, you have everything you need except for the a, right?
So you mean use this point?
Right.
Oh.
So use this point 2, 0 and plug it into this equation, and then let's solve for a, kind of like we did for direct variation.
Okay, so I have a times x, which is 2, plus 4 times y, which is 0, and equals 6. So I have 2 times big A plus 0 equals 6, where 2a equals 6, and a equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now I found that my a is 3, so I'm going to plug it into my equation. 3x plus 4y equals 6.
That is perfect. Good job.
Wow, that looked easy.
Yeah.
What's the next one like?
Dun, da, 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 we get a word problem. Hey, Miss Hagler, you have $12 to buy peaches and blueberries for a fruit salad. Peaches cost $2 per pound, and blueberries cost $4 per pound. Write an equation in standard form that models the possible combinations of peaches and blueberries that you can buy.
I love peaches and blueberries.
I don't.
But I don't know how many we're going to buy of each.
Me neither. It sounds like we need a variable, Miss Hagler. How about x?
X sounds good.
What do you want x to represent?
Well, the first one, peaches.
Peaches. Okay, so x will be the number of pounds of peaches. Number of pounds of peaches.
Because we don't know how many peaches we're going to buy, so that's going to be our variable.
Very good, but I also don't know how many blueberries I'm going to buy either. So I'm going to let that be our y, Miss Hagler. How do you feel about that?
That sounds perfect. Okay, so now that we've defined our variables, what we need to do is find out what's associated with those variables. So we don't know how many peaches we're going to buy, but I do know that the peaches cost $2 a pound, and the blueberries cost $4 a pound.
Hey, Miss Hagler, if peaches cost $2 per pound, and I'm buying X number of pounds of peaches, can I just write it as 2X?
Yes, because that per tells you it's a rate of change or a slope.
Plus, if I'm buying $4 per pound of blueberries, I'm going to write that as 4y. How about that?
Good.
Great. So all of that has to equal how much money I have?
$12.
$12. Very good. So that's my equation for the number that I can buy. That's part A. Looks good to me. Part B is asking me to graph it.
Ooh, this is in standard form. I like graphing in standard form because it's just plugging in a bunch of zeros.
Very good, to find your intercepts. So let's do that.
Okay, so let's find my x-intercept. So to find my x-intercept, I plug in
Y for 0, so your x-intercept is going to be
2x equals 12.
Right, so x is equal to 6. I think we might want to finish this in class. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I guess we will.
Hey, but try it on your own. We'll see you next time.